guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. So in today's video we are doing my March TBR, and I am really excited for this month's theme because we are doing book to movie adaptation. All of these books have been on my TBR for quite some time now, so I'm really excited to get through all of these books. And I do have a wide variety of books this month, because I do think last month I only had YA books on my official TBR, so I wanted to make sure I was incorporating more variety in my picks going forward. So we have adult fantasy, YA fantasy, we have a horror novel, and we even have a historical romance book, which I am very excited about. So let's get started. The very first book I have on my official TBR this month is the second book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and it is The Two Towers. I have read the first book last year and I really enjoyed it, and I haven't continued on with the series. This is part of my series I want to finish this year. I've never read Lord of the Rings and I really want to, because I do feel like this is one of the classic book in fantasy, so I really want to get to it. And I thought this month would be the perfect month to add it to my TBR because I loved the movie. The movie is what I saw first. I loved them. I still enjoy them. I still watch them even though they're like 3 hours. I watched them all, the extended version. I loved the movie, so I really wanted to read the books. The first book, I'm not going to go into much detail about what these books are because you guys all know what the Lord of the Rings is. But I will say I really enjoyed the first book. I do listen to these as an audiobook because the writing style of these books are not necessarily the best for me. They're very descriptive and they're very long, so it's harder for me to get into these type of books. So as an audiobook, for me it's perfect. So I placed a hold on my library for the audiobook and it finally came through. So everything is aligning for me to read this book this month. So it's perfect. So I'm really excited to read The Two Towers. Obviously, if I have time, I will also try to read the third book, The Return of the King. But I'm not sure about that because there's a lot of books that I want to read this month. So we will see. But for sure, I have to read at least the second book in the series. So I'm really excited. The next book I have on my list is another continuation of a series. And it is Voon and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. I have read the first two books last year in December, and I really liked the first book. The second book was kind of a letdown in my opinion, but with the TV show coming up on Netflix in April, I think this is the perfect month for me to read this book. I also kind of want to get into maybe the Six of Crows duology because I do think the series gets inspiration from that duology as well. But this is the main inspiration for the TV show. So I really wanted to at least read this book. Once again, since this is the finale in the series, I'm not going to go into too much detail about what this book is. But the whole series is basically a Russian-inspired fantasy book, YA fantasy book. I really like the first book, like I said. I have started this book already on several occasions. I have read maybe the first or second chapter and I never could get into it. So I'm kind of nervous because I did hear that this book is kind of boring. So we will see, but I really want to read it before the show comes out in April. So this once again was kind of the perfect moment to put this on my TBR. The next book I want to talk to you guys about is a historical romance book, and you might already know what I'm talking about because it's all over the internet, and it is Bridgerton, The Duke and I. Book by Julia Quinn. This series on Netflix came out I think like on Christmas Day. It's been a while now and I have been forcing myself to not watch the miniseries yet because I really want to read the book first. I do think the Netflix show is based on the first 5 books of this series, so I will at least read the first one before checking out the series. If I like it, I will continue on with the series, but the first book is on my TBR. I'm not even sure what this book is about. This is based on the Regency era in England, in London. I think it's about a girl who is looking for a husband, maybe. That's pretty much all I know. It will be my very first historical romance book, so I'm actually pretty excited to get into this subgenre of romance. It's a pretty big subgenre, so I'm excited to see what it's all about. And it's a pretty short book, so I'm excited. And then the last book I have for my book to movie adaptation TBR is a horror novel, and I am really excited for this book as well, and it is Misery by Stephen King. I have read a few Stephen King books last year and I really enjoyed them, and I'm slowly getting into horror books and horror novels, so I wanted to pick this one up. I've heard some amazing thing about this book, and there's the movie also, so it fits perfectly into this month's TBR. This is about an author who is kidnapped by his like greatest fan, I think, and she is forcing him to write stories, I think, something like that. I've heard some really great things about this book, so I'm really excited to get into this book and read more Stephen King's book. So these were all the books on my book to movie adaptation. These will for sure be read in March, and you will see these bad boys in my March wrap-up video, so I'm excited. But I also wanted to include some of my reading plans for this month. So I did just finish Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, like literally 2 hours ago, I think. I ended up really enjoying this book, so I really wanted to continue on with the series. So I have the next 2 books in this series that I kind of want to read. I don't know if I'm going to read both of them. They kind of get bigger and bigger as the series goes on, so we will see. But I have these 2 books on my TBR. Elliot Brooks is also hosting a Animal Companion / Magical Creatures Readathon. And I thought it was really cute, so I kind of wanted to participate loosely in that readathon. I'm not sure I'm gonna try to get the bingo, because I mean, we'll see if I have time to read all of these books. But basically you have to pick some fantasy books with some magical creatures or animal companion or magical companion, and then she also focused on diversity in her prompts. So you have to pick from like Asian inspired, African inspired, South American inspired. There's an LGBTQ spot as well, mental health spot. There's a bunch of things that she focuses on. I'll leave her video down below if you want to go check it out. I think it's a really cute readathon, so I kind of wanted to participate. This book would kind of fit loosely if you take in consideration that there's dragon in this book. I mean, there's not really dragon in this book, but in the world there's dragon. So I don't know, we'll see. A book that has been on my TBR for a while now is His Dark Material by Pullman, and this would obviously fit in that for that readathon. So maybe I'll try to pick this book up, at least the first one, because it's another big board. This is a 3-in-1 book, so maybe I'll try to read that. For an Asian inspired book, there's The Poppy War, which I heard would fit these prompts, which has been on my TBR for a while now, so I might try to pick that one up. There's also Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, which I heard would fit the prompt, and it is a pre-Columbian Americas inspired story. But all of these books are pretty like thick and pretty long and are like high fantasy books, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of those. There's also any of the Avatar The Last Airbender, which would kind of fit into that readathon, and I've been wanting to read more of the graphic novels because I read one and I really enjoyed that, so I've been wanting to read more of those, so those kind of fit as well. I mean, there's a bunch of books that would fit for that readathon. It's a fun readathon, so I'll try to fit in maybe a few books for that readathon as well. And so that's pretty much it for my March reading plans. Let me know what you guys are planning on reading this month. I want to know, and I might be adding your books to my already very long list of books that I want to read. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.